Psychology Today, there's an article about mental energy. And of course, it's sort of brand new, this whole concept. But the most profound and powerful mental energy comes from the very origin of thinking. And I used to use when I was teaching high school a optical illusion, the old lady and the young woman. And once you got affixed to one image, it was often difficult to find the other image, I found anyways. But what was interesting was that little space in between when the old lady becomes the young lady or vice versa. And it's that aspect that is the origin of grappling for thought when we don't really have any understanding. You're between imaging, you don't know what's happening. So this is the Rorschach from sideways, and you can almost see a face there. The thing about Rorschachs is that you bring your own psychology to the viewing event, and everybody does that at a gallery. If you feel that if you feel awkward with art, feel that you might be labeled stupid because you're going to try to think about the art and you don't want to be caught thinking the wrong thing. That's one of the problems in the art world, because what I'm suggesting is that a neurological basis of art means that you have to grapple with that. You have to migrate your firing and wiring with all those questions when you don't know the answer, like William Empson's book, 7 Types of Ambiguity. That's an exploration of ambiguity when you don't have clear-cut idea of where that's all going. So we'll go look at some other paintings and we'll take it from there. Okay, we'll just go down here, follow me. The whole neurological basis of art is not just dissociation, because too much dissociation is overwhelming. You need coherence. You need to be able to adapt right brain and left brain understandings, superimpose the two, synthesize them, analyze them, and as you grow in your interior landscape, you begin to recognize things so much more readily. But it's that explorative motif, that trajectory that you need to have walking into a gallery. Not, oh wow, that guy painted a great sky, or that guy painted a great dog and horse and cow. The point is that questioning aspect is absolutely fundamentally key to the élan vital, the brain's origins, the grasp of motivation, the idea of evolving and moving forward. Okay, we'll take a look at this first painting, which is called Deep Sea Diving. So deep sea diving is sort of a Jacques Cousteau psychedelic exploration, hence a metaphor. I almost called it a horse with no name, because that desert under the desert is, yeah. There's other things that I'll get to. Photography, for example. This is, I superimposed this photograph, 2 photographs together, 2 slides together. And then when I did, this is a nude model from Sheridan College, nude model course, photography course. And photographs of women. Again, this is printed on canvas, but it's I think I photoshopped it. I did this in a field near Caledon, Ontario. And then when you store things and it doesn't, it doesn't work out, it's kind of interesting though, isn't it? Everything sort of, and that's one type of ambiguity, and it's ambiguity in the whole construction of reality that I think is important. Now, this I called Demi Moore's Entourage. I painted this one probably 10 years ago, and it was one of the very first paintings that I could look at again and again and be happy about. It was interesting. Hopefully the lighting's okay here. This one's called Video Killed the Radio Star. This is Patty. This is from a series of 20 paintings called You Don't Know the Shape I'm In. And actually we'll be investigating some of those the next sequence. This is called Saturday Evening Stroll. And again, there's a lot of overwroughtness, confusion, but at the same time, you know, a fashionable statement of participating in society. Again, this is one I've bought at a second-hand store that was this way, that I turned this way and painted over. This is one of, well, a very extended Modigliani series. Okay, this one's called Brothers. And yeah, it's not a good spot to film it. Let's back up a little here. Give it some degree of credibility. Okay. And this one's called, what's it called? Sleight of Hand. So the more questions, really, in terms of visual orchestration, optics, whatever you want to call it, the more I can disrupt the way you normally see things, the more successful as a painter I am, because the more question, if you're willing to engage it, the more questions you will have. And these will be higher level questions. Saw a lot of Giacometti's work in Zurich, Switzerland. In fact, that's my favorite gallery, the Kunstmuseum. And I call this one Giacometti's mother. It's sort of an idea of Whistler's mother. I think Giacometti actually did have a painting in there of his mother, certainly of his father. And here's a couple of my Basquiat. Basquiat's one of my favorite guys. His exhibit in Toronto a few years ago. I have the ticket stub up there. Amazing. Because it's something like my own, in the sense that what we're looking at here is a puzzling commentary on social injustice and you know, graffiti, a crying out, a voice finding expression in a sort of mutilated form. A lot of my pieces are very large because they belong in La Pompidou, they belong in big galleries. I'm not really interested either in selling them or anything. My main dream would be to get them into a gallery setting, Zurich, Basel, great, La Pompidou, Musée d'Orsay. I'll settle for that. Some of you may be familiar with Kandinsky. Kandinsky, the painter. The Blue Riders. Rebellion against traditional art forms. These are my riders here. In the spirit of the age. In the spirit. And Kandinsky had this idea of color. The psychology of color. He seemed to have more access to synesthesia than most of us do. And because of that, he had a more elaborate understanding and feeling for color. I'll give you a couple to sleep on, because I don't know whether this is a good painting or not. Maybe it's crapola. I don't know. I can't bring myself to evolve it anymore at this particular point in time, because whatever it has going through it for it, if anything, I think I could easily mess up on. And that's one of the things about painting. This one here, I see these cars, energy, the flow of the paint, you know, the taillights reflected in the pavement on a wet evening, and the headlights and so on, and all that fluidity of the modern tempo. Okay. 1 or 3. Follow me. We're going out to the trailer, which is stuffed full of paintings, and we're going to get to those later on. That will be after some of the poetry, the songwriting, the photography. Creativity has a pretty much central core, and one should be able to sort of spread out like an octopus. So we're going out. Come on, Bazzy. Come on. Yeah, and I'm very lucky to live in a place which is very inspiring and for creativity. Okay, not much farther. Come on, Basil. We'll just get the camera to follow me in. And we'll take a brief look, and later on we'll take a more intense look. So when we get out here, this is Annie Lennox walking on broken glass. Lots of paintings, and of course I have to sort of organize them, but we'll get to them down the road. Interesting image.